This is actually the first year that players can negotiate to stay with their team before free agency actually starts.
30 days, right?
I don't know the exact amount of days, but like
it was right after the finals until
correct.
the 30th or whatever. So I guess
correct.
it was like a couple weeks.
But like last year when I signed my deal, I had to wait until July 1st.
When the whole market can pitch you.
No, because after my third year, I could renegotiate to sign back. It's called like the Derrick Rose rule, basically. So like Scotty Barnes just signed a max.
Yeah, 270.
Yes, correct. And that was because after his third year, he's allowed to do that.
And Tatum, 315 is the number they're saying. So all these numbers are like slotted. Everybody kind of knows what the deals are going to be.
Yeah, they're all about projections of what the cap is going to be. So like last year when I signed, they said it could be up to 260. Well, the cap changed, so now it's, I think, like 247 or something like that.
Got
it.
So,
All NBA too, right?
Well, yeah. So like Scotty's deal is 270 if he makes All NBA. I don't know what the base amount is. I have no idea.
Oh, so these like NFL contracts whenever they're being said. NFL contracts are it's getting better as of late. Even though the journalists for a long time have been putting out numbers that aren't real, knowing they're not real, to potentially have favor with people.
Right from the age.
So that is, I don't know, you tell me in the entire journalism thing what's real and what isn't. But the NFL, there's like a real number, and then now they've made up a practically real number. And then there's the big fugazi number pretty much at the end. NBA, similar. These big numbers we're hearing are not the fully guaranteed because we think of the NBA deals, fully guaranteed, this is what the person's getting.
Sure.
There's a lot of things that have to hit for that to happen.
I think like Jason, he signs 315. I think he gets all 315.
Congrats,
I think
Congrats.
First team.
Hey,
All
congratulations,
NBA.
Jake.
he's going to make All NBA anyway, so it doesn't matter. But like,
What if he doesn't, though? Because sometimes that is
I still think he's going to make 315. I could be wrong, so let me not give you wrong information. But I think that's
we do that all the time.
Oh,
People
yeah.
hate us.
Plus,
Could
he's
be
been
wrong.
there. He's been there for a while too, since he's been there for his entire career.
That could,
6,
yeah,
7
he's made
years.
All NBA the last 2 years. You're
Yeah.
right. So I think he is going to get all 315. Whereas Scotty Barnes, if like for me, if I didn't make All NBA, and I'm going off projections right now, if I made All NBA, they said it was going to be 260. If I didn't make All NBA, I think it was going to be like 217. Well, I made All NBA, so
Congrats.
it's the number that they report.
Hell yeah.
That's only a $43 million difference
That's massive.
to make All NBA. And who's voting on this?
The media.
Wendy.
Media.
Yeah, Wendy.
Wendy.
$43 million.
Is in the hands of the media, correct. Yes.
That's nuts.
And 65 games.
And 65 games.
Which almost, you were the person that they were talking about potentially being.
Yeah. I mean, really, that 65 games only really affected 3 of us because only 3 of us, I think it was 3. Yeah, me, LaMelo, and Anthony Edwards were the only ones who our contract would jump if we made All NBA.
$43 million.
43 million, correct.
So much money.
It's absurd.
$43 million is a massive NFL contract.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is the
career
difference.
Bigger than every running back contract.
Yeah, it is a huge. Hey, congratulations. And thank you to shout out to the media. They got it right.
Yeah.
Yes.
How you
That's
feel about that?
Nathan.
Yes.
How you feel about the 65 game rule? Obviously, impacted you last year, but how do you feel about it overall?
I mean, I understand. I think it's in good spirit, right? We are all fans of the game. We want to see the best players play. I get that, and that's cool. For me, it was frustrating because I got hurt, and then I rushed. I tried to get back as fast as I could. Then I re-aggravated it, and I was kind of scared. But I ended up making it. So we have a great medical staff, all those things. That's good. But I think it's good spirited. I think there's probably a way to go about it a little different that somebody who's smarter than me can make that decision.
Should they calculate intention? Because, like, if the intention is, I know, this is always the big issue is anytime you start giving power to people to try to read other people's intention. But then you got to have, like, a court system, I guess, to hear people's stories. And then there has to be a judge and then a jury and then executioner through the whole thing whenever you're judging intent. But, like, I think the thing was put in there so that guys didn't just
sit.
out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, because you got Indiana Pacers games before you got here, before the Haliburton era.
Okay.
God, thank you.
The Halle era.
Yeah. So much better.
Such a good era.
In between you and the PG era with Lance Stevenson and Hibbert and George Hill and the boys, and then there was people would fill up for certain people that come to town. And then when those dudes would get announced 35 minutes, an hour before the game that they're not playing, you got an entire arena filled of like pissed off fans.
Angry people, yeah.
And Adam Silver had to be like, this is not smart for our business that people are coming and being pissed off. Like that is not something. So I think they're trying to make it in good spirit. But if the intention isn't just to sit out, I think there should be like exemptions. Like for instance, you being actually hurt, I don't think that should have, like there should be like a doctor that says like, hey, he's like actually hurt. This isn't him intending to just kind of wait and rest and think he's not ready. So I think there has to be a little bit more human element maybe.
Yeah, like if they did it more so like if you miss like 7+ straight games, where like, hey, hey, clearly this guy can't play, instead of missing, one game on a road trip and then playing the next night? Couldn't that be something where there's like a limit to your injury or a point to your injury where it's like, okay, this guy's not missing games on purpose?
So whenever you go to like a mechanic, okay,
Sure.
they have a book that tells them how long a job is supposed to take. And then that is how much they charge for said job.
Yeah.
So if this is supposed to take an hour and a half, but it only takes you 10 minutes, you're getting paid for an hour and a half, right? So that's just like literally how the business is, which is fantastic. My Uncle Larry, mechanic, and whenever I heard about this, I'm like, so you can do 15 hours of work in a 6-hour period, and you're still getting paid for 15 hours, and that's the game, I guess.
Yeah.
That is how it all goes. So they would have to have a standard for every injury then.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
this is how many games that this would be.
Like baseball, kind of.
Like expectation of how many games you would miss, and that would have to just be understood by everybody. Like he has a high ankle sprain. Okay, so he gets 2 weeks worth of games in this entire
Bingo.
thing. But what if you have then you re-aggravate? What if you re-aggravate?
Well, that's the thing. It's like it almost.
Oh my God, it's impossible.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna have to play
Everybody's
65.
Because you run the risk of, like, if a guy's up against that and he's missed a couple games, and it's like, okay, well, if I don't get back, like, I'm having a hell of a season. If I don't get back out there and play right now, even though I'm like 65%, I'm potentially going to lose $42 million. So you go back out there and a guy ends up breaking his ankle, and then he misses the rest of that season, and then it's like it is kind of a slippery slope.
It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, but that's because we know more about everything now. Like science got involved. No offense. Science data got involved. It's good for society. But once people start learning, you take a game off every 4 days, you're much more likely to have a prolonged career as opposed to this. And it's impossible if I'm a basketball player not to hear that and be like,
Sounds good.
okay, yeah. I'm going to do that. And then the NBA's got to balance the entire thing. Let's pivot back to the draft here. So what was the biggest difference between college ball, Iowa State? Hey, go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones. Hey, we'd love to hear that. That was nice. That was nice. Right? Why is that?
I went to Iowa.
That is god awful. What an awful play.
See, it doesn't even matter though, because he's not from Iowa. So like,
My girl is though. She's from the Quad Cities, so I've been to.
Quad Cities is a shithole, but that's neither.
Yeah.
yeah,
rough.
you know.
It's rough.
No, but when it comes to basketball, like Iowa State does have supremacy in the state of Iowa. As like I don't.
No question.
I mean, I'm watching you guys, George Niang. Like Iowa State's been good for a very long time.
No question.
Iowa State football, their fans act like they're like USC or like whatever. But that's neither here nor there.
Brock Purdy.
Yeah, Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
How
correct.
many times?
And I don't know how many times I have to say that he's great
That's
right
okay.
now.
He probably sleeps well at night knowing he's a starting quarterback for the Niners.
Oh, okay.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's a whole different problem.
But we're not talking about how good he is in the NFL. I'm just
Right.
saying,
Tell how good he was as a college player.
bingo.
If he would have went to the Hawkeyes, whoa.
Yeah.
They would kill. They would kill for Brock Purdy.
Natty.
would.
They
I
would
would
kill
kill
for a
for
first
Brock
down.
Purdy.
They would kill for a first down, which they're going to get a couple this year, I've been told.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Cade McNamara is a dog. I mean, he is.
Just hand the ball off, man.
That's right.
Ball.
That's
He
right.
did. A little bit too much. Let's talk transition basketball. Okay.
Okay. Wait, was he gonna? Were you gonna ask a question?
No, I just had to get
Oh,
that
the
in
Iowa
there.
joke.
Yeah, had to get that in there.
Terrible place.
Not
Go
a
ahead.
joke. Not a joke.
No, it's a great play.
Hey, Ames is a shithole too. You know that?
No. Ames is a great place. Love Ames. My dog's name is Ames.
Oh, great.
No, so I have.
dog.
I can't say nothing bad about Ames.
Hey, okay, so it sounds
Respect.
like you had a great time in Ames, Iowa, which I'm happy to hear that because on this particular program, a lot of pro Hawkeye conversation, burial of Iowa State, very regular basis here from Iowa
Who would
Hawkeye
I be?
legend.
Got
Kenny
to.
Schmidt.
You have
get it.
to.
You get
and
it.
I would. And if I was here, it would be vice versa. As well.
Exactly.
All right, what's the biggest change from college ball to the NBA? We're going to talk to Coach Cal next hour or whatever. And
Yeah.
I assume he's going to break down why his teams have had success in getting drafted to the NBA other than just recruiting the best players in the country and, creating dogs down there in Kentucky for however long it is. But what was the biggest difference for you? What was the biggest jump for you? Because you're a guy that handles the ball. You're a dazzling playmaker. Is it the physicality like it is in the NFL? What is the biggest difference?
Well, I mean, obviously the NBA, everybody's bigger, everybody's faster, everybody's stronger. You know that. You're playing against. I think like there's a starstruck element when you first get to the NBA that some people have, and I definitely had. But I think
Who? Braun. You shit
Everybody.
your pants with Braun on the court?
the first person that I felt that way was Dame and Carmelo, because we played them in the preseason. No fans, nobody in the crowd, and I'm like coming up for my warm up, and I grab a ball from the rack and I turn around and Dame's right behind me at half court shooting like one. Bad, but yeah, no, I think.
But you have a little imposter syndrome, you think?
What is that?
It's like you don't think you deserve to be there.
No,
Don't
I wouldn't
know
say
if you're
that.
enough?
I wouldn't say that. I would just say you're like, damn, this is like the first time Carmelo switched on to me. My hands were shaking so much, I just had to pick the ball up. Like I wanted to make a move, but there was no move to be made. It was over with. I would say that the biggest thing is probably just time management. You guys know this, just being a professional. Like in college, they give you, this is your schedule. You got class at this time, we got team workouts at this time, film, blah, 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 blah. In the NBA, it's like, you don't have class. This is your job now. So you need to figure out how you're going to separate yourself, whether that's, what you're doing in the morning, are you coming back at night, all those things. I would say just time management is probably the biggest thing.